Hello, hello. My name is Otis James. I'm the founder of the 4 Data Points Academy, also the founder of VentureU, which is the entrepreneurship leg of the 4 Data Points Academy, and AscendU, which is our personal development leg. But I wanted to explain an event we have coming up. This is actually the second event. So we have an international business retreat, and this is focused on entrepreneurs only. So these are people that have a business idea that they want to bring to market, or they're already in business and they want to scale it up. So we're going from 0 to 5 million. If you're already making over 5 million, that's going to be a different retreat. But in order to get you there, I put this retreat together, but I wanted to give you some insight as to why, because it's not necessarily what you think. Now, let me explain first what the retreat is. So we are flying in consultants to, in this case, it's going to be Medellin, Colombia, but the next one could be another place. Medellin, Colombia, and I want all of the consultants in the same house. And we're going to take 5 days and we're going to build people's businesses out while they're there. Now, in this case, we have a luxury villa and I have executive chefs coming in. So we don't have to focus on anything but our business. Now, we're going to have time for the fun stuff too. As a matter of fact, we're going to take 1 day just to do team building stuff, go out, see I was about to say the countryside, but Medellin is city, right? But they have that outside of Medellin. So we're going to do some team building stuff on one of the days. And then the other 4 days, we're going to get to work, right? We're going to start at about 8 in the morning. We are going to stop at about 3:30, take the rest of the time to enjoy the day. But I wanted to give you some insight into the areas that we're going to be focusing on, because as entrepreneurs, when you're starting out, we don't know all this stuff. And we have to figure it out along the way, and it can be very, very expensive. So, and I'm just reading that from the brochure. If you guys want more information, that phone number, just go ahead and text that phone number. I can give you any information you need, not just for VentureU, but for the 4 Data Points Academy. Even if it's just to get a brochure, just text the word VentureU brochure, and I'll go ahead and send it to you. Now, when I was starting out, and I've carried multiple businesses to the 7-figure mark, and let me just say, 7-figure mark is that's not the destination. That's just the first benchmark. So those that have been in entrepreneurship for any amount of time know that you can get to the $1 million mark, but once you get there, now the conversation shifts to how do you scale that up? Because it's typically just you and maybe 1 or 2 other people. This is what that event is for. This is what the retreat is for. So these are the 8 areas that we're going to focus on. And I wish that I had somebody to mentor me in these 8 areas when I was coming up, because I could have saved hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to get it right and figure it out as I went along. Now, it's going to go based off of a guide that I distributed some time ago called the 8 Focus Points Every Business Owner Must Master. And I'm literally reading off that guide. And this prompted me to implement this retreat so we can do it all in 5 days. Now, the first component is market understanding. So we are going to identify who you serve and what they truly need. We're going to help you through that process. We're going to help you figure out who is my ideal customer and what urgent problem am I solving. Now, that could be just an idea in your head at this point. So we need to talk through that and be able to answer these questions before we move on to the next step. So we're going to take probably 90 minutes just to build that out. Then for all of these topics, we're going to break out workshop style, and you have the consultants that are going to be in the home that are going to be assisting you. Now, who are the consultants? Now, it's me, Otis James. I'm one of them. And I would love to think that I am just brilliant enough to consult on all of these things by myself, but I'm not. So I had some people that are in my network that are going to be flying in or live streaming in to help you with your business. Now, these are people that you would have to pay a significant amount outside of this retreat, okay? Now, some of the qualifications or criteria that I wanted to make sure we adhere to when bringing in consultants, I had 3. One of them was you have to have made at least $1 million in what you're consulting on. Or for things like systems and processes, you have to have in your corporate job practice what you're consulting on for a Fortune 500 company or better, right? So if you're consulting on systems and processes, then you have to have done that for a company that was in the Fortune 500 or below range, right? Fortune 500, Fortune 100, Fortune 50. And the last one was more specific to nonprofits. You have to have actively been in the nonprofit space that you're consulting on. So I have a few people for that. So we are going to get into some nonprofit stuff there. Okay. So we're going to get into market understanding. Then after market understanding, we're going to get into creating an offer, right? So what are you selling and why would someone choose you over somebody else? We're going to build that out for you, even if we have to figure it out while you're there. Then after that, we're going to get into your sales system. Do you have a sales system? Do you know what it is to build a repeatable sales process? So what that means is, how do you turn interest into paying customers? And when I consult people, obviously outside of this video, we talk about something like friction. How easy is it for me from the moment I decide I want to buy to be in that checkout, right? So we're going to go over that process. How do you turn interest into paying customers? And what's your step-by-step sales flow? That's a very important process. And I think all of you would agree. Marketing strategy. So we're going to teach you how to build awareness and how to attract your ideal clients. So we're going to focus on where does your ideal client spend time and how do you consistently reach them. All right. Then we're going to shift into operations and systems. Now, this is one of the biggest things that keeps people from scaling up. And if you want to get to the $10 million mark or above, you got to be able to scale. And operations and systems is a key component. So we're going to help you design efficient systems that remove bottlenecks. We're going to look at what tasks can be systematized or delegated, and we're going to implement that for you, with you, right? We're going to teach you how to do it. I say for you because I want to do everything for people, but I got to let people learn, but we're going to support you in that process. And then how do you track key performance numbers? We call them KPIs, key performance indicators. And do you even know what that is? And do you know how to apply that to your business? So again, we're taking people with zero knowledge, we're going to teach them that, then we're going to focus on the practical application of that for their business. We're going to get into financial clarity as it pertains to your business, right? We're going to do an overview, but then we're going to focus on your business specifically. Know your numbers to grow your numbers, okay? How are you managing cash flow? And what are your monthly expenses and income targets? Again, if you don't know, that's fine. Now remember, when you come to this retreat, all you have to do is have an idea. We'll go ahead and we'll bring it to life. Then we're going to get into team and leadership. Build support as you grow. You can't do it all yourself. Any entrepreneur that has crossed the $1 million threshold knows that they hit a ceiling, right? If you haven't shifted to that scaling conversation, how do I scale? Then this is something that's going to keep you the sub $1 million mark. Now, again, $1 million isn't the destination. That's just the first benchmark, all right? So what roles do you need filled next? And you may say, look, I do this business on my own. It's just me. Well, if you're going to scale, you're going to need a team. So first, identifying who you need on that team is going to be the most effective move before you hire those folks, right? You can't hire people if you don't know who to hire. Even if you think you're far off from hiring people, let us worry about that. We just want to make sure you know who to hire when the time comes. Remember, we're building out the blueprint for your business. How will you lead and manage a small team? We'll discuss that. It's going to be different for different people. Some people are going to have their team physically there in an office environment. Some people are going to have their team spread out all over the world, right? We live in a virtual world these days. So that's a reasonable expectation, right? Now, something that a lot of retreats don't get into, and I think that that's unfortunate because this is the most important part of entrepreneurship. Your business can only grow as much as you do. So we have time set aside just to go over mindset and personal growth. And we're going to focus on these two areas. The first area is what habits or beliefs do you need to strengthen? All right, that's bigger than it sounds. What habits or beliefs do you need to strengthen? Also, what habits and beliefs do you need to eradicate? Do you need to stop giving power to? For example, some people struggle with a fear of failure. Well, acknowledging that you have that fear is the first step. How do we remove that? What's the reasoning behind how we remove that? So we're going to talk about 20 beliefs that we need to get rid of to help us be more effective. Now, that component is not going to be led by me. That's going to be led by a good friend of mine and partner with the 4 Data Points Academy and VentureU, which is the personal development leg, Dr. Alfred Smith. So he's well qualified to teach on those, and that's going to be an exciting part of the retreat. Also, how are you protecting your energy and focus? Now, this is a 5-hour conversation by itself, right? How do you protect your energy and focus? And one of the hardest pills to swallow for me is learning that I can't make myself as accessible as I'd like to the general public, because everybody is siphoning off, whether they know it or not, some of my energy and some of my focus. So I have to have a system in place to be able to maintain that boundary. And a lot of us don't know that. A lot of us don't realize that, especially when you're starting out. You want to get as many clients as possible, and you want to be, accessible to people. So if they have questions and if they have concerns, and you want to be the all-being oracle for everything, and that is just not sustainable. So we're going to help you with that. Right now, those are the 8 areas of focus that we're going to be focusing on, and this is our 5-day VentureU retreat. This particular retreat is going to be April 1st through April 6th of 2026. There's only 15 spots, and we're selling out already. We're not even marketing it. So I wanted to do this just to let people know exactly what it is. You can text me for a brochure, or you can go to VentureU.live. VentureU, Venture, the letter U.live, for more information or to download the brochure. Again, feel free to text if you have any questions. This is going to sell out really, really quick. We are looking to start doing 2 of these a year. We just had the October one, October 2025. We're still in October, and it's sold out. And people had a really good time. Now, again, I'm going to house everybody in a luxury villa. I am going to bring in executive chefs to cover breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we're going to have 3 offerings. And I really want you to look at the brochure to see what our VIP offering is. Now, we're going to have a tent-only offering. That is people that are coming to the retreat, but they're not staying in the house. I'll still cover breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You're still hanging out at the villa. That's fine, but you would just secure your own accommodations. The one up from that is the private room offering. You have a private room at the villa, and you can bring a guest, right? A +1. And the other offering is our VIP offering. It's a private room at the villa, but we've got some special surprises for those folks, including the actual written build out of their company by the time we leave. Well, probably a few days after that, if it's a more complicated build out. And there's going to be some things going on at my villa, which is not the main villa, but I don't want to ruin the surprise. But a lot of the stuff is in the brochure, so make sure you guys look at it. Again, my name is Otis James, founder of the 4 Data Points Academy. If you have any questions, feel free. You can go ahead and text that number scrolling across the screen. You can email me at info@4datapoints.com, the number 4, DATAPOINTS.com, and I'll make sure to get you any information you need. But look, take action. That's one of the things that's the hardest to teach for entrepreneurs. Once you have an idea of something you want to do, take action. This retreat is going to be unlike any other retreat. We kept it at a price point, $2,800 to $6,500. And outside of the $2,800, the $5,000 and $6,500 offering, that includes your villa. That includes your room. So look at it. Looking forward to seeing you there. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I'll make sure to get you squared away.